Hey, what's going on? Charles Austin here, and let's be fit forever. Sorry, I started off a stream by dropping my phone. All right, got it. Don't want to step on or anything. But again, hey, it's Charles Austin here. Um, Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about, I think, a question literally popped in my brain earlier. I was having a conversation about weight loss, and as I adjust my camera here, I was having a conversation about weight loss, and the question kept coming up about, well, what about the protein? How much protein do I need? What about the protein, the protein, the protein? And they said, well, I don't want to be sluggish. I don't want to be dragging, because, and the craziest thing was the fact that this individual specifically mentioned advertising and its association with providing energy with protein, right? And say, hey, I see all the people running around doing all these active things with the protein. I don't want to be. So I said, well, you know what? This will be a great topic to discuss later on this evening. And here we are. Hey, but as always, before we jump into today's topic, make sure that you, number one, like this video. Number two, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Number three, make sure you turn your notifications on so that you're always up to date with the latest streams, so that you never miss out on great content that we're providing. Monday and Wednesday streams, usually about 7 p.m. Central Time, somewhere in the window between 7 and 8 p.m. Central Time. So catch me in that window each and every Monday and Wednesday, and occasionally popping up on the weekends here as well. All right, but let's go ahead and dive in. As you can see right here on my screen, I have this wonderful image of all of these high protein foods, right? Being the wonderful plant-based vegan eater that I am, is no way possible that I could add any of the animal proteins to this image for you to stare at. So yes, everything you're looking at here are sources of protein, right? But this is not why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about what type of protein is better, right? The question here is, does protein provide energy, right? So let's dive into that real quick. Let's start out by talking about this term very briefly, right? And just so you're clear about protein, it is one of the 4 biomolecules, right? And a biomolecule, as it just says here, is any numerous substance that are produced by cells and living organisms, right? So we make these things and we consume these things regularly, right? So the 4 major types of biomolecules include carbohydrates, lipids. You may know lipids as fats, right? Nucleic acids, and proteins, which is what we're going to talk about today real quick. So as it kind of starts out here talking about proteins, right? Here we go, right here. So there are 20 different amino acids, and of course, amino acids, if you don't know, amino acids are basically the building blocks of proteins, right? So if you're using Legos and you're building some type of structure or whatever with your Legos, right? Those individual pieces are your amino acids, and eventually you have protein, right? So anyway, so 20 amino acids that can occur in the protein, and the order in which they occur determines the protein structure and function, right? The key word is the order in which they occur determines their function, right? So proteins themselves are major structural elements of cells. They also serve as transporters, which move nutrients and other molecules in and out of the cells, and enzymes and catalysts, all these fancy science words that I'm not going to bore you with today, right? They perform the vast majority of chemical reactions. They also form antibodies, which are important for fighting infection, right? Hormones, which send signals throughout the body. They also influence the way our genes behave, and that's kind of important. In my last stream, we talked about what is cancer and expressing genes, right? You can always check out those videos on my playlist, right? So in this entire little summary here on proteins, nowhere in there did we start talking about energy as one of their functions, right? But when we go straight to carbohydrates, which are made primarily of carbohydrates, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, they are essential energy sources, right? And structural components of all life. All right, so the first thing we start talking about when we get into carbohydrates is we start talking about they provide energy, right? Nowhere did we mention energy anywhere in this summary on proteins, right? So let's go down to lipids, and which fats are a type of lipids. We can eat fats in our daily diets, right? They fulfill a variety of roles, including serving as a source of stored energy. So what are we learning already just by analyzing carbs, fats, and proteins? Well, if we're going to be thinking about getting energy, we're going to be thinking about carbohydrates, and then we're going to be thinking about fats, but we're not even considering protein for an energy source, right? But let's go a little bit further, right? So let's talk about 9 functions that protein actually has in your body, because I'm not here to bash protein and say that it's not useful. It is extremely useful, and it is extremely important. We can't live without it, right? But the question here is, does protein provide energy for us, right? Do we get energy from protein, right? So let's look at 9 functions of protein real quick, all right? Growth and maintenance, primarily with our muscles and our cells and things like that, all right? Repairing tissues, repairing things in the body, right? All right? Biochemical reactions, right? So anytime you see a word called enzymes, that's basically something that's causing a reaction to happen. Different things like digestion, blood clotting, right? Energy production, but that doesn't mean that we're getting energy from the protein. It's helping digest food to provide energy, right? Let's see. Acts as a messenger, right? So again, specifically talking about hormones, which gives it different signals throughout the body to do different things at different times, right? And these are just some of the examples, right? Insulin, and glucagon, which deal with processing glucose for energy, right? Hormones, etc., right? Provide structure, right? So proteins are fibrous and provide cells and tissues with stiffness and rigidity, right? So that's to make sure that the cells and different structures in our body are firm and strong, right? Maintains proper pH. Okay, so we're talking about pH. Where is it at? Yeah, so protein plays a vital role in regulating the concentrations of acids and bases in your blood, which is super important for maintaining homeostasis, which of course is something that keeps us balanced and keeps us alive, right? As we continue to go on, balancing fluids, right? Making sure our water and our electrolyte balance is accurate, right? Bolsters immune health. We already talked about the fact that proteins are help make up antibodies, right? So that when we are exposed to a pathogen or some type of germ or something like that, then we can help fight that infection. Yay! Not responding. What do you know? All right, here we go. All right. Transports and stores nutrients, right? So again, we're transporting different things, whether it be vitamins, whether it be minerals, etc., right? Last but not least on the list is provides energy. Hopefully we're starting to get a theme of answering the question, does protein provide energy, right? And even, let me go back. Sorry. Here we go. All over the place now. But again, even where it says protein contains 4 calories per gram, the same amount of energy in carbs, the last thing your body wants is to use energy in protein, since you already have so much of it, and we're going to get into some other reasons why in just a second, right? But again, that's the last thing on the list, and that's not really what you want to be used as energy. If you're using protein as energy, you have way more problems than you actually need if you're using protein as energy, right? And this is one of the reasons why, well, we'll get into that in a second real quick, all right? So again, does protein give you energy? That's literally the title of the article here, right? So look, you can get energy from protein. Yes, you can. You can get energy from protein because it does have calories, right? But it's not your best choice, right? Literally not your best choice, right? The reason being, this little paragraph is one of the best explanations of why you don't want to be using protein as an energy source that I've seen out there, right? And it's simple, right? Protein has other jobs to fill that take priority over using it as an energy source, right? So some of the things that this article lists is building muscles, right? So when your body takes in protein, it's thinking, hey, I need to focus on muscular health, right? I need to focus on that. It's also going to produce protein-based substances that make muscles contract, right? So now we're talking about not only do I need healthy muscles, now I need to make sure that they're actually able to perform and contract and move when I want them to, all right? And the other thing is, it also takes your body longer to turn protein into energy compared to what you get from carbohydrates. So even if you're waiting on the protein to actually give you energy, it's going to take a whole lot longer to break down because it just takes more work. All right. Not mentioned in this little paragraph is the other things that we've already talked about, right? As it says here, protein has other jobs to fill that take priority over using it as an energy source. Again, we talked about muscles. We talked about repairing cells, repairing tissues. We talked about making hormones, antibodies, right? So many different things that protein has as a job before it even thinks about being an energy source. Matter of fact, protein is the last line of defense, if you will, when it comes to creating energy, right? So as it says here, when the proteins you eat are digested, they're broken down into the amino acids that we just talked about, so that your cells have the access to whatever ones that they need for the job at hand, right? Most of the amino acids you break down, they make more proteins. Okay. So again, we're talking about using those to repair tissues and bones and skins and all that different skin and all that kind of stuff, right? And the thing about protein, real quick, where is it? Maybe it's not on this article, but anyway, the point is, as we said here, right here in the very beginning, it takes your body longer to turn protein and energy compared to the quick boost you can get from carbohydrates. And the reason for that is it's harder. All right. The simple fact is when your body's trying to turn protein into energy, it takes more work. So it's going to take more work to create the energy, and it's going to be ending up a net negative almost. Right. If you don't understand, that basically means, let's say, 1 gram of protein gives you 4 calories. All right. If it takes 5 calories to turn that 4 calories into energy, you're -1, right? So the amount of energy, the amount of work that your body has to do just to turn that protein into energy is almost pointless, just because it has to work so hard, right? So real quick, this was a very interesting article here as I get ready to wrap up here. This article was talking about, why is it so popular? Why is every other commercial that you see, whether somebody's exercising, whether it's an athlete, whatever, they're always talking about protein, right? All right, so let's get down. And you can see the date on this article, right? All right, so this dates back a little bit. So this is back, I don't know if you remember back when, what's up, man?
Mommy's not letting me do my pumpkin.
All right. Well, look, man. I'm busy right now, so I need you to go back and talk. Okay. All right. All right. I'll be back down in a second. Close the door, please. All righty. Excuse me. But again, I don't know if you remember the campaign where where the milk industry was talking about got milk all the time, right? And as you can see right in here, excuse me, got a little distracted there. I don't know if you can remember back when we had the Got Milk campaign, right? And they were trying to get rid of that, right? So what happened is milk folks, they said, hey, let me go ask a bunch of these teens and adults to see what would make milk more appetizing, right? So they were going with the Got Milk campaign. That kind of ran its course, and they're saying, hey, how can I possibly sell you this product that you don't need and to make something that's not appetizing, dairy milk, right, and make it appetizing, right? So the first thing they tried to do was advertise the calcium portion, and nobody cared about that. Then they tried to call it a superfood, and nobody fell for that, which it's not a superfood. And they said that the fact that it was just 25% cents per glass, they tried that. That didn't work, right? So the winner ended up being the fact that there's 8 grams of protein per glass of milk, right? And so after they figured out that marketing protein as something that was awesome was a winner, there was a $50 million campaign that allowed folks to allow the milk industry to focus on marketing protein as something that's awesome, right? And going on from there, protein never got more popular, as it says. It's never been more popular. We always see protein in every commercial associated with nutrition and fitness and all that stuff, right? So it's entice, giving you the promise that you're going to lose weight, you're going to get stronger, you're not going to lose muscle, right? And all that kind of stuff. And even now, retailers they like to add protein to foods and cereals and all these different things, okay? And this is a marketing campaign. As you can see, the clear industry behind this marketing campaign is the dairy industry. Got milk wasn't working anymore, so they said, hey, let's focus on protein. All right. So as it says here, scientists know that protein builds lean muscle and provides a feeling of fullness. But the cool thing about marketing protein that makes people want it so much is it's not restrictive, right? So they're basically telling you over and over again, eat protein. And when you get done eating protein, eat even more protein, okay? Versus things like low fat, restrict your calories, low sugar. That's making people think they can't have it. But when it comes to protein, hey, you can have as much as you want and there's no problem, okay? But is that actually true, right? So here's a couple of quick things on protein and when it can become an issue, right? And the downsides of protein. And I'm going to be very brief here because I'm getting ready to wrap this stream, but you can check out my video on more protein, more problems. I created that stream a while back that basically highlights all the reasons why you shouldn't be consuming more protein and why you really don't need that much, right? But here's one right here where a study was done. Let's see, where does it start here? So there's a guy who wanted to disprove those who argue that humans cannot survive if they eat only meat, which is basically going on an all-protein diet. But unfortunately for him, he became very ill when he was eating lean meats without any fat. He developed protein poisoning, all right? His symptoms disappeared after he lowered his protein intake and raised his fat intake, right? Anyway, this guy, I believe, later on he returned to a low-carb, high-fat, high-protein diet until his death at 83, okay? I'm surprised he made it that long, okay? And then the other thing is, his early experiments recorded the cases of high protein intake having extreme effects, but despite soaring sales of protein supplements, many of us are still unsure how much protein we need, and if too much or too little is dangerous, right? So there is, where is it here? Taking center stage in our health to kick. The health kick is protein with protein balls, bars, enhanced protein versions of staple products from cereals to soup dominating supermarket shelves, and global protein supplements market valued at $12.4 billion, right? So clearly there's a big push like we've already mentioned here with protein, okay? But where is it here? Most of the protein that you eat, you just kind of flush out in your urine. You're wasting your money, right? Many of us consume extra protein, which contributes to our obesity rates that are getting more and more out of control, all right? If you think about things like protein bars, they're really just candy bars with a little extra protein that you don't need, all right? So the easier way to describe protein intake, it goes right here, right? So the question is, when can protein become too much, right? When is it harmful, right? So can it be harmful? And as it says here with most things here on this study, this is okay. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, right? So people who eat a high protein diet have a higher risk of kidney stones, right? You basically overwork your kidneys trying to filter out. So we just talked about it here on this last article where most of the extra protein is flushed out by your urine. Well, of course, we know our kidneys help create our urine and they help filter out things that we don't need. So you're increasing your risk for kidney stones and kidney damage. High protein diet also contains lots of red meat and higher amounts of saturated fat that may increase your risk of heart disease and colon cancer as well. Okay. So again, long story short, we don't need protein for energy. Our best source is going to be carbohydrates. Secondarily, our second source is going to be fats. Now, and then if you just look at this image here, right? Now, I wish it would have came up prettier than this. I don't know what happened to it when I pulled it up. I wonder if it's when I scroll at the bottom. No, it's not there either. All right, but anyway, basically, as you can see here, this is carbohydrates, and this is giving you a scale, right? So if we're comparing carbohydrates, fats, and down here in the green, I know you can't see it, is protein. Somewhere around half to 60% of our calories should be coming from carbohydrates. All right, next on the list is fats, okay? The last thing that we should be worried about eating is protein, right? And if you do the math, 50 and 30 is 80. We're only around 10 to 20, depending on what number you are here with your calories, right? So again, what percentage of my daily calories should come from carbohydrates? Again, somewhere between 45 and 65% of your total calories should come from carbs. Okay, that's the one you need to be worried about, making sure you're getting enough of each and every day. Carbohydrates gives our brains energy, our muscles energy, our cells energy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're easy. It's easy to break down. So your body doesn't have to work overdrive to break these things down. So some of you may have noticed that if you've tried diets that are low in carbs, where you're doing the high protein, the high fat, the low carb diet, because you're looking to lose weight. And I'm going to talk to the camera here real quick just so you can see me. Oh, where am I? There I am. So if you've noticed that's somebody, if you've tried that before, where you say, hey, I want to lose weight, and I'm going to try the low carb, high fat, high protein diet. And what you probably notice in the very beginning is that, boy, am I losing weight super fast. The weight is just coming off of me, right? But eventually you start to feel sluggish. Eventually you start to be tired more. You find it harder to exercise. You find it harder to work out. And the reason for that is because you've deprived yourself of your body's first energy source. Your body's going to work overdrive in order to break down protein for energy, and you're going to run out of energy. And the first thing you're going to do is go back to carbohydrates. And as soon as you do that, all of the weight that you've lost comes right back. All right. So just keep in mind that on a percent scale, if we're thinking about consuming carbs, fats, and proteins, right, where do we want to be? The biggest chunk is going to come from your carbohydrates. And then after that, we'll have fats. And last on the list, maybe 15% of your calories need to come from proteins because they're not here for energy. They're here to do stuff, if you will. All right. So I did want to just at least break down where you should be getting your energy from. All right. So again, keep in mind that when we're thinking about the functions of proteins, the last thing even on lists, we go through 8 different things before we even get to provides energy. Again, protein contains 4 calories per gram, the same amount of energy that carbs provide. All right. Fats supply the most energy at 9 calories per gram. The last thing your body wants to use for energy is protein, since this valuable nutrient is widely used throughout the rest of your body. Carbs and fats are much better suited for providing energy, as your body maintains reserves for those use as fuel. Okay, so again, your body needs protein for so many different things. Energy is the last one on the list. So if the question is, hey, does protein give us energy? It can, but it shouldn't. All right. So as always, let me remind you of a couple of things here real quick. How did I get here? Let me go back. There we go. I'm going to slide this right over here so y'all can see. All right. I don't want to see that. Get out of there. So again, keep in mind that right now you can go to my YouTube channel right here, Charles Austin Fitness, and you can go to my playlist. All right. For those of you who are looking for a simple to follow, can be done anywhere exercise program, 3 times the burn is it. It's right here. All you have to do is click view full playlist. You can literally try 2 weeks on me, complimentary. Try it out because I'm so confident in it that you're going to love it. I'm giving away 2 weeks for free, right? Once you decide, not if, once you decide that you love it, it's very simple. You can go right here to 3 times the burn and get, oops, that's the playlist, excuse me. I don't want to go there. We can go right here. Where'd it go? Oh, I'm on the wrong page. All right, we can go right here to 3 times the burn right here. And if you want to learn a little bit more, there's a little video that loads where I get up and I start talking to you. I tell you everything you need to know about the program. Hey, that's me back when I didn't have so much hair, right? Once you watch the video, you can click I love a challenge and it gets you right in here exactly how to get started, okay? So again, you can try 2 weeks for free right now. These workouts, as it says right here, these workouts can be done anywhere. They can be done on your time. It includes a nutrition plan. All the workouts are total body. All you need is some resistance bands or a few dumbbells. That's it. And the attitude to complete, right? Also keep in mind, if you need this is a 60-day challenge. Hey, if you need something a little bit more in depth, right? Right here, Fit Forever Family. Check this out. This is my 12-week transformation experience designed to help you lose 10 to 30 pounds in 90 days and learn the skills to be fit forever, right? To set up a free consultation, all you got to do is go right there and click that link, and you can talk with me, yours truly, and we can iron out all the details, all right? So keep those thoughts in mind. As always, make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fitness Charles. All right, make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're subscribing to my channel here on YouTube and turning your notifications on so that you're always up to date with the latest content here on the channel. All right, until next time, which will be on Wednesday. As always, I will see y'all sometime between 7 and 8 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you check out the next stream. Until then,